When I was 16 years old, I would be home alone a lot. My mom worked late nights at a diner and my dad was long gone, so it was just me most nights. It was fine. I would play video games or watch TV until I got tired, and then I'd go to bed. Nothing special or weird ever really happened, but there was one night I can never forget. It was the middle of summer, so it was hot, and I had my window open to get some air. My room was on the first floor facing the street, and usually it was pretty quiet in my neighborhood, but for some reason I couldn't fall asleep that night. I was just laying there staring at the ceiling when I noticed this weird feeling, like I was being watched. It didn't make sense because my blinds were half closed, but I still looked over at the window anyway, and that's when I saw him. There was this guy just standing there on the sidewalk right in front of my house. He wasn't moving or anything. He was just standing there and staring straight at my window. It freaked me out, but I tried to stay calm. At first, I told myself maybe he was waiting for someone or something, but the longer I watched him, the weirder it got. Because he wasn't doing anything, just standing there like a statue looking at my window. It was dark, but I could still make out some details. He was wearing a hoodie and jeans, but his hood was down, and I could kind of see his face. He looked normal, I guess. But the way he stood there was so creepy, like he didn't belong there at all. I thought about calling my mom, but I knew she'd probably be too busy at work to answer, and I didn't want to seem like a baby. So I decided to wait it out and see if he would leave, but he didn't. He just kept standing there. After what felt like forever, he finally moved. But instead of walking away, he started walking towards my house. I froze. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to close the window and blinds, but I was scared he'd see me moving. So I just stayed still and watched as he walked up my driveway. My heart was pounding like crazy. I could barely breathe. He stopped right in front of my window, and I swear he looked right at me. I don't know if he could actually see me because it was dark in my room and the streetlight wasn't that bright, but it felt like he could. I was too scared to move, so I just stayed as still as possible, hoping he'd think no one was home. Then he started trying the front door. I could hear him jiggling the handle, and it felt like my heart was going to explode. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have a phone in my room, and I didn't want to leave to get it because I was scared he'd hear me. After a minute or two, he stopped messing with the door and just stood there again like he was thinking or something. Then he walked around the side of the house towards the backyard. I felt sick. I knew the back door was locked, but I wasn't sure if all the windows were, and I was too scared to check. I just stayed in my room listening and waiting. I don't know how long I stayed like that, but it felt like hours. I didn't hear anything else after a while, so I finally worked up the courage to grab my phone and call my mom. She told me to stay in my room and she'd call the cops. The police came and looked around, but by the time they got there, the guy was gone. They didn't find anything. No footprints. No signs of forced entry. Nothing. They told me it was probably just some weirdo, and that I should make sure all the doors and windows were locked from then on. My mom came home early that night, and I stayed up with her until the sun came up. I didn't sleep much after that for weeks. Every little sound made me jump. I kept my windows closed and locked even when it was unbearably hot. I never saw the guy again. But to this day, I can't forget the way he just stood there staring at my window. Like he knew I was there, and that he was trying to figure out how to get in.